until I found someone who laughs like you.
Hi friends, Elizabeth here from Plant-Based Bride, and today I'm going to be doing a flip through of my last bullet journal. As you will have seen 2 videos ago, I did a setup in my new bullet journal, which is from Dingbats. It's this one here from their new Earth collection. It's the Great Barrier Reef one. So I just got set up in this one. I did my October plan with me in here, which you will have seen last week. And by the time you see this video, I will have started using it. But as of right now, it's actually still the very end of September. So I haven't started officially using this one yet, but I'm very excited to. But I thought since I'm just a couple days away from finishing up my Rhodia Webnotebook, it was time to do a little flip through and show you everything that I've done since January, which is when I started in this notebook. So a little bit about this notebook first. This is the Rhodia Webnotebook in an A5 size. It's in this silver color, which I really love. I actually wanted to get it in black because up until this point, I would say 95% of my journals have always been black. I just prefer that usually. And I found this for sale on, I think it was the Chapters Indigo website, because I could not find the Rhodia Webnotebook in any of the stores that I normally buy notebooks from, and I really wanted to try it. And I found them and they were on sale, but they didn't have the black in stock. They only had, I think, their orange and another color and the silver. And the silver was the most minimal, it was the most neutral, so I decided to get it, and I actually adore this color. I feel like it has held up really well. The elastic has definitely gotten a little dirty over the course of the year, but the cover itself actually still looks really beautiful. It has a little bit of a texture, and I just feel like it's held up really well, and I actually really like this lighter color and this light sheen to it. So that is this notebook. I would definitely recommend the Rhodia Webnotebook to someone who is looking for a notebook to try. If you would like, I can also do a full review on the Rhodia Webnotebook now that I have used it for, what month are we in? September. 10 months. So now that I've used this notebook for 10 months straight, I definitely have some thoughts. And if you'd like a review, I can definitely make that for you. So let's get into the notebook. So I'm just going to open it up here. The inside is just this silver that's the same color as the outside, and I didn't write anything in there. The first page is my please return to page, and as you can see, I just have some washi tape here. That's my phone number under there. And while I love you all, I don't really need everyone on the internet to know my phone numbers, so I've covered that, but that's normally what it says there. I just have my full name and my phone number, so if I did lose it, someone would be able to call me and let me know that they found it. Next page is my index. I only did 2 pages for my index, and that actually worked out. I didn't even finish it. So this is just all of the different pages and spreads and their corresponding page numbers. The Rhodia Webnotebook doesn't come with its own page numbers, so I actually had to number the pages myself, which honestly I didn't mind. It only takes an extra second when you finish a spread to add a number. Next, I have my future log. So this is set up in the same way essentially as my new future log, which you will have seen in my new bullet journal setup video. It's very similar. The styling is a little different, but otherwise the setup is the same. I really like this setup myself. So I just have all of the months and a mini calendar and then space to write dates and events underneath. So that is there. Then I have some more spreads here. So I have my clean home spread, which was sort of supposed to be a setup to help me get onto more of a cleaning schedule. I definitely use this for reference to remind me of things that I should be cleaning, because I'm really not a cleaner at heart. I am organized, but I'm not tidy. So this helped for that, but I didn't actually use this to check off doing these things each week. I kind of just would flip back to this page from time to time to be like, oh yeah, I need to remember to clean the mirrors and the windows or something. So I'm not going to be remaking this spread. I just didn't use it that much, but it was good for me to write out all these things because it kind of reminded me of some of the things that I don't do too often that I probably should do more often. This page is my need, want, and waiting on spread. So you will have seen I made a new version of this in my new bullet journal that's actually a double page spread, so I have a bit more space. As you can see, I was getting right to the bottom of the want list. My waiting on was right to the bottom here. I found this spread really useful. just to write out things that I need, that I'm still waiting to get, things that I want to get, that I'm trying to see if it's actually worth it and if I actually should get it, and then things that I've ordered that I'm waiting on having delivered. So I found this a really useful spread, which is why I recreated it in my new bullet journal. Next page, I have my sort of ideal morning and bedtime routines. I definitely didn't stick to these. I have a lot of trouble with having routines in the morning and the evening, especially because up until pretty recently, my schedule was very different every day. And I'd have days where I worked until 10 p.m. And then the next day I'd have to be up for work to start work at 7:30 in the morning. So my schedule was all off and messed up. And recently I've gotten onto way more of a regular schedule with my work schedule, which is great. So I'm going to start incorporating more of a routine, but I think I need to start a lot smaller. I was a little bit over ambitious with this, and I just tried to start too big. So I need to start small, and my current kind of mini routine that I'm trying to stick with is waking up by 8 a.m. every morning, taking my temperature first thing before I get out of bed, drinking a little bit of water, and doing at least 15 minutes of yoga to start the day. And that's kind of my plan for my mini morning routine that I'm trying to stick with, and trying to keep it really short so that even on earlier mornings, I still have time to do that. It only takes, 20, 25 minutes to do all of that. And then bedtime, basically just washing my face and doing, again, 15 minutes of yoga. So that's my current very pared down routine that I'm trying to get into, and it's going okay so far. Definitely not every single day, but it's starting to become more frequent, which is good, and hopefully soon it will become a full-blown every single day kind of thing. So next was my daily dozen page, which is just the dozen things that you should try to include in your diet every single day. I've not done a great job of this. My eating has not been awesome for the past couple months, especially just stress and stuff, and I'm not a very good cook, so when my husband's not around to make something, I find it very hard to make food for myself, and it's really just not a priority. If I could survive without eating, I would, but unfortunately I can't. So this I haven't stuck to very well, but it's something that I hope to reincorporate a little bit later once I get my life together a little bit more. Next page here was my date night spread, which you saw I recreated in my next bullet journal. I really liked the spread. I didn't do any of these first ideas, so they are still fair game for the coming months and years, but we did a bunch of these ideas down here, and a couple of these we did more than once. So I just did a little dot under the month we did it and then crossed off the idea. Next page here is my New Year's goals for the beginning of 2017. Some of these I have accomplished, some of them I have not, but I still have a couple months left of 2018 to accomplish them, so I'm not too worried. So now we're into the monthly spreads. If you want more detail of any of these spreads, I talk pretty thoroughly in all of my monthly Plan With Me videos, so you can go watch those. They are all in my bullet journal playlist on my YouTube channel, and I will link it in a card. But if there's one that really stands out to you, you can watch that video individually to get a little bit more insight. I'm going to try to go a little bit faster because otherwise this video will go on forever. So this is my January spread. I did just a snowflake sort of theme, which I really liked. It was very simple, very sort of icy, and seemed to fit the whole vibe. It's my monthly spread all completed. We have my habits and my mood spread. As you can see, a completed mood spread. This was my original setup that I did for quite a few months this year, with just tracking my moods and my sleep all through the month in a graph. And I moved away from this now just because I found I wasn't really gaining any more information from it, and I wanted to try something different. But I really liked this for the first probably 6 months of the year. And again, this is how I did my habits for quite a bit of the year. I've now moved away from tracking this many habits just because I felt it was too many and I wasn't able to keep up with all of them. And, the ones I did keep up with easily were habits I didn't really need to track because I was just doing them. And the ones that I was trying to implement, I just had too many at once and I wasn't able to keep on top of all of them. So I've moved away from this kind of layout now, but you'll see for the first probably 6-7 months, this is what the habits and moods looks like every single time. So next we have my weeklies. This is the weekly I have used through this entire journal. It is very boring, but it's what works for me and I love it. It is the rolling weekly layout. If you haven't seen my dedicated video on a rolling weekly, I will link it in the cards for you to watch right up there, because this layout is the perfect thing for me. And if you go watch that video, you will see exactly what I mean. So that's the first week, then we have week 2, we have week 3, and we have week 4. This page is my how to draw line art animals double spread. I made a video on this after my April plan with me where I did a line art animal sort of theme. A lot of you asked to see more animals, and so I made this spread, and I actually just flipped back from where I was in the journal for April and found a double page spread that I had skipped over and not used and decided to use it up. So that's why it's earlier in the journal, but these are all the animals I drew in that, and I'll link that video if you want to watch it. Next is the start of February. For February, I did a heritage theme. So I did thistles for my Scottish heritage, and I also did roses for my English heritage. And this quote says, "Be so full that even if they take and take and take and take, you can still be overflowing," by Alison Malee. It's hopefully how you pronounce their name. And I have my month calendar here. Again, just roses and thistles for the theme. I've covered up some personal information down here. Again, the exact same habits and moods spreads. Next, I have my weeklies. So again, I have week 1, week 2, week 3, again, some personal information, and week 4. As you can see, a lot of times in the last couple weeks, I won't add any kind of extra design. I will if I have the time, but honestly, my week-to-week life is pretty ridiculously busy, so I don't always have time to add colors and drawings and make it pretty, and this is sort of the day-to-day of my bullet journal. And then we also have week 5 here, which was the end of February, start of March. Here I have my 5 love languages spread, which I also have a video on, which I will link for you if you want to watch it. I did the quiz and got my results, wrote them here. Jason did the quiz and got his results, and I wrote them up here. This I always meant to write in again in pen, and I just haven't gone back in and done it, but I like this spread. Next, I have my little drawing roses tutorial. I posted this on Instagram. I think I made videos of it on Instagram, but just how I drew the 3 styles of roses that I did throughout the spread. And then I had a little master to-do list that I wrote here just because I had a bunch of to-dos that I wanted to transfer over into March, and I didn't want to forget about them, so I wrote them there. Now we go into March, which was a coffee theme. This was definitely my biggest plan with me in 2017 up to this point. This video went mildly viral, about 70,000 views or something like that. I don't know where it is now, but that was a bit shocking to me, and it was really exciting that people were loving what I was doing, especially on something like a coffee theme, because I am coffee obsessed. So I was happy about that. So I just did my latte art March cover page using Tombow brush pens and my quote page, but first coffee. Then I have my monthly spread using some coffee plants here. My habits and moods, again, exactly the same, just covered up the habits on this one. Next, I have my weeklies. On this one, I just have a couple little coffee beans, which I thought was really cute. And again, my next weeklies are just very straightforward and practical, minimalist, useful. That's what my weeklies are for. Now we're on to April here, which was my line art theme, or my line art animal theme in honor of my 5-year veganiversary, which was very exciting for me. So this was my April theme. I have my eat, sleep, save animals, repeat, #GoVegan quote page. I love this quote because this is pretty much what I want my life to be. Just saving animals all day, every day. So here is my monthly spread. Very simple. I really liked the way that I did the header up there, and I really like these fish, sharks, whatever they are, that I drew on there. Again, I have my habits and moods, just again covered up personal information. We have our weeklies here. So we got week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and we're on to May. So May was a Star Wars theme. This one didn't do as well as I hoped it would, but I guess not everyone is quite as nerdy as I am, so that's okay. I'll deal with it. I probably will do more nerdy spreads and themes in the future, and I'll just deal with the fact that not everyone is as into sci-fi as I am. It's okay. So this was my Star Wars theme for May, since May is Star Wars month and has Star Wars Day in the month. May the Force be with you, of course, for my cover page. Then That's No Moon. It's a space station. Here I have my monthly. I went with yellow and tried to do the font from the title card of the movie. I have my habits and moods again. And my weeklies, of course, I had to make a point of May the 4th be with you and Revenge of the 5th, because there's no way I couldn't. Then we move on to week 2. We have week 3, week 4. I actually think this is so funny. I'm going to go back again because look at how my weeks super well done. You know, my first week is always really nice because I do it in my Plan With Me video, so I have set aside time for it. My second week, I still have those titles, those headers. I really went all out. I just didn't add the yellow. The next time, I only do the one header, but not the other header. And then week 4, just my normal handwriting. That's it. I also didn't really use this weekly that much, so maybe that's why I didn't put the effort into it, because I clearly had a busy week and didn't really use my bullet journal that much. Then I have a blank spread here. I must have just skipped a page by accident. Then I have my self-care spread page. I made a video on this, which I will link for you in the description box if you want to watch it. Just some things to do as self-care, a mood tracker, and a gratitude log. And I have this I Don't Need Rescuing artwork at the bottom with Princess Leia with galaxy hair. Then we're on to June, which was a cotton theme. And the quote page, there's beauty in simplicity, my monthly, and my habits and moods. I didn't complete this at the end of the month, and you can see my habits aren't super filled in. I don't really remember what happened at the end of June, but I must have gotten pretty busy. Now I have my weeklies, so we have week 1. Instead of week 2 here, I have another spread. So I put in a work tasks spread because I got promoted and had a bunch of tasks I had to keep track of. So this is my initial work tasks spread. It's basically just a to-do list with space to write the completion date. You'll see later I made a new spread for tracking work projects once I completed this one. And then I have this page that I made, vote as if your future depends on it, because it does. This I wrote before the Ontario provincial election, which happened in June, and it didn't go my way, unfortunately. Not enough people went out to vote. So this is a reminder to all of you, voting is important. Please, please vote. Please. Next page is week 2. Then we have week 3 and week 4. And we're on to July, which was a watercolor moon theme. This was my first time ever using watercolors, and I had a lot of fun with it. For all of the watercolor moons, I did them on watercolor paper and then ripped them out and glued them into my journal because I didn't think the Rhodia Webnotebook paper would be able to hold up to the amount of watercolor I wanted to use. So that was my cover page there with a mini calendar, which I don't do very often, but decided to add to this page. Then I have my quote page, which is the simple and classic, "Love you to the moon and back." Then I have my monthly spread and my habits and moods. We have week 1. Next is a packing list because I was going to the cottage with my husband and my family. So I have my packing list here. And then I did a little cute collect moments, not things, sort of art quote page on the other side. And this moon I actually made with Tombow brush pens. I have a video on how I made this moon with my brush pens, and I have a video on how to do a watercolor moon specifically. Again, everything will be linked in the description box, and all of these videos can be found in my bullet journal playlist. Next, I skipped a page here for whatever reason. Sometimes that happens unintentionally. Then we have week 2 here. We have week 3, week 4, which it looks like I wrote week 5 and then tried to fix it. And also I apparently started on Thursday, so I don't know what happened with this week. It was a mess all around, clearly. Then we have August, which to date is my most viewed Plan With Me video. It's nuts. We have surpassed 100,000 views, which honestly flabbergasts me. How does that happen? I don't know. This was my Instagram followers control my bullet journal idea month thing, and you folks decided you wanted to see a fairy light theme, so that's what this was. I'm definitely going to do an Instagram followers control my bullet journal video again in the future, but I do think it would help a lot if I had more followers, to be honest. Not because I just want more followers, honestly. At the moment, I have just over 5,000 followers, and when I post something to my stories, I usually get a couple responses right away, but it usually takes a good 24 hours for the majority of my followers to actually see my stories and respond. And if I'm setting up a bullet journal, I kind of want a good response pretty immediately so that I can get the response and then do it in my journal, ask another question, get a response, do it in my journal. And that's what a lot of the people who make these videos do. They have such a big following that they can get a couple hundred or even a couple thousand responses within the first 10 minutes. And that makes everything a lot quicker. That's one of the reasons why I didn't actually ask you that many questions for this just because I knew I would have to wait at least a couple hours each time before I really got any good feedback. And that was not going to be doable for me to be able to actually make this video and get it out to you, since I also have other jobs and I can't just sit around all day waiting for you to respond. So as much as I had a lot of fun doing this, I really love how it turned out. And I think a lot of you were happy with it. I'm going to be waiting until I have a few more followers to do this again. Maybe I'll do it as a 10K follower thing, like as a celebration of hitting 10,000 on Instagram. I'll probably do another one of these. So let me know in the comments below if you want me to do another one, and if setting 10K as the goal time to do that works for you. So this is my August cover page. Then we have the quote page, which is a Dumbledore quote: "Happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the light." This quote inspired an entire video about positivity culture, which you can watch if you're interested. Then we have the habits and moods. This one is a little different. I actually added a third graph, which kind of makes it a little harder to see, but I did not only sleep hours and my moods, but I also added in sleep quality. So that's why there are 3 graphs this time. Then we have week 1 here. We have a little interruption for a thank you spread for 5,000 followers on Instagram and 13,000 subscribers on YouTube, which I hit in August. Then we have week 2. We have my new work spread. So as I was showing you, my old work spread was literally just a to-do list, which I'll try to find to compare for you here. So my old work spread, and this is my new work spread. This is the brain dump and the Kanban board. I made an entire video on this, of course, so I'll link that for you in the description box if you're interested in how this works. Next, I have week 4 and week 5. Then we get into a to-do list. I just did another master to-do list of things I wanted to keep track of, just like I did however many months ago. Then we go to September, which is the final month in this journal. I did sort of a wildflower foraging sort of theme. I painted these mushrooms with watercolors, and it says "Autumn killed the summer with the softest kiss." Then we have my monthly spread here. We have my new health tracker, which I obviously changed up quite a bit. If you're interested in why I changed it and what this is all about, I would go check out the September Plan With Me video where I go into detail. Then we have week 1. We have week 2, week 3, and week 4, which I am currently in. So this one isn't completed yet. And after this week, I just have some blank pages. So I still have a couple pages left before I hit the end of the notebook, but I pretty well filled it right up. And I'm probably going to use these pages to do a couple pen test pages for my Rhodia Webnotebook review, if you want to see that, and or for a big journal comparison video that I kind of want to do. So I'm glad I have a couple pages left so that I can do some pen test pages to show all of you how this paper holds up. And at the back, of course, I have some ink. I have a pocket full of random pieces of paper, and I have this little pen loop that I stuck into my journal because the web notebook doesn't come with a pen loop. And that's it. That is my whole journal, full right up. I really, really enjoyed using this Rhodia Webnotebook. Again, the color really grew on me. I'm so happy with how this turned out. I love every single spread that I did. I don't know which one I would say my favorite is, though. I kind of want to pick a favorite. Let's see. My favorite spread probably would have to be, I think I have to say my favorite spread was my moon spread. I just had so much fun learning to watercolor, and I love how the moons turned out, especially this moon phases section that I did here for the monthly. Honestly, I just really, really loved doing this one. So probably the watercolor moon. July is my favorite month. I would love to know what your favorite spread was. I'm really curious to see if it's the same as mine or if there was a different one that you loved the most. And of course, if you have any requests for videos you want to see, leave them in the comments as well, because I would love to make more videos that you want to see. And the last little thing before I go, I mentioned this in my new BuJo setup video. I asked if any of you would be interested in seeing flip throughs of my old bullet journals, because I have actually been bullet journaling for about 4 years and I have a lot of old notebooks, and a lot of you seemed interested. So if you liked this video and you want to see those, make sure to give this video a like, so I know that I should prioritize dragging out some of those old notebooks and giving you some fun peeks into how I used to bullet journal years ago. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you very soon in my next one. Bye, friends.